We just heard you speak, and one of the things that you spoke to was turning Canada into this sort of hub of analytics and the value of analytics and data moving forward. And you talked a little bit about how that's going to change business models. Now, change is something that IBM's been through a lot of, but it's something that a lot of organizations find really challenging. I was wondering what sort of tips you might offer leaders that are going through change right now.
You need to understand what the actual challenges that you're trying to overcome. Because transformation is a way of life, but transformation for transformation's sake is not always going to get you where you want to go. So I would look at it first as say, what do I want to be known for as a business? As a set of individuals within that business, what is it that I'm trying to achieve, and really be able to articulate that very well. And once you get that, then it's about putting the plans in place to actually go after it. And having a culture of change and a willingness to change and communicating that change to an organization, no matter how big or small, is vitally important. So the first thing is knowing what you want to be known for. The second thing is a willingness and capability to be able to communicate that and to continue to communicate. You need to over-communicate that to your team in a transformational environment, communicating why it is you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish, and then being able to have a measurement system along the road that allows you to identify the success that you're having or that the challenges you are having and being able to then alter that. So those three things are key to the success.
And another thing that you spoke to a little bit in your presentation today was about some of IBM's values. And I noticed when you were speaking about the values, you talked about how you had listened to the employees and they had really come up with those values, you know, as a team. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how important it is to listen to your employees, because I feel like leaders talk a lot about surrounding themselves with other great people, and that's obviously, you know, necessary and imperative for success. But how important is it to really listen to those people after you've hired them?
Well, a company the size of ours, we have 400,000 people worldwide, and so the strength of our company is our people and our relationships with our clients. So with the people, we need to give them forms under which they can communicate together, and the technology today allows for that. So we're uniquely capable of taking, whether it's social media, whether it's web presence, etc., to allow teams to collaborate on ideas. So we're doing a lot more today in terms of collaboration. When we created those values, what we did is we actually had a web jam. And we allowed people to come into the web jam, be able to listen, communicate with leaders about specific topics. And we gathered huge amounts of information. And we asked people what was important to them, and what was important to our company, and what was going to sustain our company in the future. And we listened to them, had all these chats, and they were ongoing live chats. And then we took this information and we distilled it down to those three values that I mentioned. So dedication to every client's success, trust and personal responsibility in all our relationships, and innovation that matters for our company and the globe. And when you do that, when you listen to your people and then you actually communicate it back to them, they then buy into it far more because they feel that they actually created it, not just that management created it and pushed it on them. And I think in today's environment, organizations are much flatter and need to be much flatter and less hierarchical than they were 25, 30 years ago.
You also talked today a little bit in the question and answer period about the value of sometimes leaving your laptops at home, which I thought was so interesting because I think people think of IBM as a company that's really focused on technology. I mean, certainly it has that history, and with the data and the analytics and all the software that I'm sure that takes, it seemed like a nice idea that sometimes the most important thing is to just take things back to basics, to have that ability to ponder, to dream. Can you speak to a little bit about why that's so important to IBM?
Sure. Well, we're a technology company, but sometimes we get carried away with our own technology or the technology that's in the marketplace. And Thomas Watson Sr., who founded IBM, created the motto, think. And sometimes that's the most important thing you can do is to think. And computers on their own are dumb devices. They have capabilities, but they have capabilities when brain power is applied to them. And so we do sit down to say our strongest asset is our people, and allowing our people to get in a room together to not distract them with anything or any other than what the problem is they're really trying to address. That gives them the opportunity to think. And then once they think and they create a game plan, then use all the tools and capabilities you have to determine A, your path, B, you know, how successful you are on that, or C, any changes you need to make to it. So we absolutely do that, and we remind ourselves that, you know, it's our brains and the capability that we have as a team and the diversity of our team that actually is the strength of our company.